let's see if we forgot any nodes, any important nodes. Well, we have an let's see, LOD quad that has something to do with the LOD. I have no idea what you can do with it. Then we have the mesh occlusion. You can say if a specific mesh is occluded or partially occluded, what it does. I never ever used it, but quad, it should create a quad, but it doesn't, so I have no idea why it's in. Random is really yeah, what it says, random. The number of outputs, we can say 5 outputs, and the number of minimum executed number and a maximum executed number. So this is useful for if you want random, maybe broken windows or something like that. You would put it in here, and well, actually that you would do that differently. If they are the same mesh, you can add it in here. We can add multiple meshes in one mesh node, and then a chance of how and it will choose one of the meshes in this mesh node. But yeah, if you have a big choice, you want to make this rule set or that rule set on this wall randomly, then yeah, it's possible with this rule set, with this node. Repeat, we just used it right here. And size is very useful. We earlier had the problem that when our building was too small, that the windows weren't showing up because the alternate function needs at least 96 units, and back then it needed 192 units. This is actually a way to solve that. You can say if it's less than 1 or maybe yeah, 192, then you can do this, or else you can do this. So we could put that in between and say if this alternate function is less than 96. Right now it's maybe a little bit bigger, 112, just to be safe. So if we would make this building a lot smaller, let's make it small. The cool thing is that it automatically updates, so we drag it down and we should make it smaller than 96 units. So this one is smaller than 96 units, and it doesn't do anything. But we could say when it's smaller than 96, it uses this mesh, and then the problem is solved, or 112 units. So yeah, that's a way to fix bugs, or maybe if windows get stretched too much, you can say if it's bigger than this or smaller than this, have a different type of window. And then we have split. This is useful for splitting up a scope. It's like the top bottom, only then the top bottom is for the entire procedural building, and this is only for one scope. We can only, you should first give it a name before you can. I cannot attach this to anything. I should give it a name, so my name is name, and name number 2, and now we can attach it to something. And what this does is just splitting up the scope from top to bottom. So here we repeat this in the Z-axis, but maybe we want we can make it a little different. So here we have the Z-axis, but let's see. First we're gonna make it really weird right now, but or let's put this in here. So this is gonna be the, I think this is the top of the scope, and it automatically disconnects when renaming. So, and this is gonna be the bottom. Oh, top, bottom, and let's see how that looks. It's probably gonna look really weird. So right now we have it. We have the top is this. This right here is the top, and then we have the this part here is the bottom. And let's say the bottom, because now it gets stretched, we don't want it stretched, so we can say in the split we can say fixed size 160, and then we save it, and then the fixed size will be 160. And the other size you don't want it fixed because it needs to stretch the entire building. You always want one size to not be fixed and the others to be fixed, or maybe not if you want it equal distance. So in this way we could also have set up the bottom, because this node is basically you can just it's not necessary. You can just use split instead. I almost never use this because it's just awkward. So because it has all these outputs that you don't, and just stupid. Sub rule set is really useful for when you have really big rule sets and you want order it a little. Then you can create a second rule set, and in your editor, let's just create one right now, and we have this new and this is tutorial rule set number 2, and let's say for some reason we want these windows to be in this rule set. Let's plug it in, and let's apply this rule set to this right here. Then we can throw away this here. Now we have exactly the same thing. Nothing changes. But now we have this sub rule set, and we have these windows in this one. It's only useful when you have a lot of different stuff going on in your procedural building. So maybe you have signs randomly generated in a sub rule set. That would be useful. What else do we have? Variation transform. transform is just transforming the input, so transforming the translation, rotation, or scale. I wouldn't bother doing that too often. Most of the time you just want to do it in your 3D modeling application. Variation is useful. One really useful way to use it is for optimization. Let's see. We have, if we click on nothing, we get the properties. We can click the plus and say clear. I call this one clear, and this means if we have this variation, nothing happens. So what can we do with this? Because if I click apply, nothing happens. But if I click on the procedural building and I go into geometry mode and I click on a face and I right click, then I can choose procedural building, and then we have all the variations we created. So we can create like clear. Now nothing happens on this side. We can also create, maybe you want a different window pattern on some sides, then you can create a variation of that and input it in a different rule set. So that's that. And you have window wall, which creates just a wall with a gap in it. It's very useless. I haven't used it in any way yet, so I don't know why it's there. Let's see what happens when you plug it in. We get this wall with gaps. I don't know. And we can change these gaps, window size. It's useless. But yeah, let's throw that away. So this is the easy way to create multiple buildings. And default variation. So we can copy this one and just change it like this. We can make it higher, or maybe we want a little strange looking building, so we extrude it. So, and yeah, this way we can just create awesome looking buildings in just a couple of seconds. And that wraps it up for now.